morning, Nigeria, and welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from the economic hub of West Africa, Lagos. I am Henry Igwebike, and today let's kickstart with our newspapers, and from there would be our conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can find readers when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Very so honored to have joining me via Zoom from Ogun State, Nigeria, Echo John Nicholas, National Coordinator, Food and Farmers Rights Campaign Coordinator, Campaign for Democratic and Workers' Rights, and also the Ogun State Chapter, NEC member, Democratic Socialist Movement, DSM. Thank you so very much, Mr. John, for being here. Truly do appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Henry, for having me. Yes. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you every time. So let's kickstart with the Vanguard newspaper for today. We have the big story. State governors are now to share payment of electricity subsidy, and that's coming from the federal government. So about 4 trillion there that I would love to believe these schools are waiting for. And the federal government has done well by allowing the states to share part of that money. After all, these guys get so much money to themselves, and one cannot see what they have mostly used the money for. So it's good, it's fair enough that the 4 trillion should be shared to every state in Nigeria, so we can at least get some bit of light, and maybe our national grid would not fall again anytime. So we have on the top strip, 2027, APC moves to exploit opposition's disunity. That is equally not a good one. Lots of people would say a one-party state is what it is, but how much of that would last in a country like Nigeria? We have other matters that Makuku protest. Police used expired tear gas on protesters. That's coming from Falono, SAN. Mr. John Nicholas, I'd love us to take on this particular matter. It's now becoming glaring that lots of things went down. Very similar to what happened at Lekki Toll Gate, which was denied by the military and every other one who was involved in it. Right now, the police are saying that they did not use no firearm. And equally, the tear gas used was not an expired one, but lots of people died. A little child died at the scene of everything that happened. What's your take on this? Equally on those who went to the State Assembly to protest and were equally tear gassed. What's your take on this, please?
Thank you very much. We want to say that first and foremost, that our heart go to the families that lost their loved one to police brutality at Makuku community. Then second is to also say that the police has again displayed their brutality against peaceful, defenseless protesters. In fact, during that protest, as we all saw, the protest was peaceful and there was no problem until the police started to shoot at defenseless protesters. As I speak now, one of the wounded women was admitted at Lut. That is the Lagos State Lagos Teaching Hospital, University of Lagos Teaching Hospital. And she has been treated. I think she will be discharged today or so, while she will be receiving treatment at home. Then she will still be going to the hospital. In fact, she's built to also do a plastic surgery as a result of that wound she sustained. Then Soweto, Taiwo Soweto, the leader of the protest, a NEC member of the Democratic Socialist Movement and the spokesperson for End Bad Governor Lagos State, was assaulted. He was brutalized. And that assault was led by CP Moshood Jimo, that is the Lagos State Commissioner of Police. He personally supervised that assault on Comrade Soweto. As I speak now, yesterday, Comrade Soweto was at the hospital where he went to go and do the MRI, test to find out if there are injuries, hidden injuries, internal injuries and things like that. Since then, he has been receiving treatment. As I speak now, Comrade Soweto is still under treatment. He was brutalized, he was beaten, he was wounded. the police commissioner ensured that the police dealt with Soweto squarely and Dele Frank. We condemn all these acts of the police, and we want to reaffirm that protest is inalienable right of every Nigerian citizen, not just in Nigeria, everywhere. It's a democratic right that cannot be taken away from us. And we refuse to be guarded by the police. We refuse to be intimidated by the Lagos state government. And we are saying that the Lagos state government that has turned itself to land grabber and its agent that has been grabbing land across Lagos, we condemn them, and we say that that forceful eviction and demolition must stop. It is simply because the Lagos state government is interested in profit over people's life, and that is why they are demolishing Makoko in order to take over the waterfront so that the rich elite can have a view of the ocean at the expense of the life of the common fishing people of Makoko. We shouldn't allow it. It's condemnable, and we are calling on the UN to ensure that Commissioner Jimoh Yusuf is squarely prosecuted for his heinous crime against humanity. We are not going to allow this to lie low, and we must ensure that justice is served. And we are saying that all trump-up charges that have been brought by the police and Lagos state government against Comrade Soweto and Dele Frank must be dropped. We cannot continue like this. Lagos state does not belong to Sanwo-Olu alone, neither does it belong to President Tinubu alone. Lagos state belongs to Lagos people. It is for all of us that lives in Lagos. So some few individuals cannot choose to drive poor people away. We cannot allow it. We condemn it both in Makoko. We condemn the forceful eviction in Owode Nirin. We condemn the forceful eviction in Owuroshoki, Ajegunle, and all other places the Lagos state government has been grabbing land. It must be condemned by people of good conscience, and it must be stopped.
Yes.
And we also demand compensations for all the people that have been brutalized and those that have been assaulted, those that are in the hospital. Lagos state government must pay the bill. And we insist that Lagos state government cannot forcefully evict people away from their home without providing alternative. You say you want to better their life. There are better way of bettering their life than forcefully evicting them from a place they have stayed for decades. We are not going to allow it.
Yes, but if I might ask, how do you truly feel when you drive past the Third Mainland Bridge and you see that community, which has been recorded as the largest urban slum in the world? What's your take? Don't you think it makes a bit of environmental sense that those people, should be asked to leave that place, which of course is not telling a good story of Lagos State? What's your take on this? Because that's what lots of
yes, thank you. Thank you very much. If Lagos State and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is interested in beautification, he does not want an eyesore, quote and unquote, as Makoko represented. I think there are better ways to go about it. There are better ways to go about urban renewal than what they are doing presently. We want to say that saying Makoko is an eyesore is an indictment on the rulers of Lagos State to date. It is an indictment on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was a former Lagos State governor. It's an indictment on former Governor Fashola. It's an indictment on former Governor Ambode. It's also an indictment of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is almost spending 8 years, and yet he has not been able to find a viable solution to Makoko. Makoko is not the only place where people live on water. All over the world, people live on water. What the serious government do is to ensure that they are well settled. They are given social amenities. So if Lagos State feels an eyesore, it's not to grab their land. if he is doing urban renewal, is to ensure that a viable alternative is provided. Lagos state government is not building houses. The houses Jakande built, we still see it today. How many houses has Babajide Sanwo-Olu built for Lagos residents, poor Lagos working class residents? How many did Fashola build? How many did Ambode build? How many did Tinubu build? Regardless of, this is being touted to have built a model Lagos. And you are building a mega city, and people are living under bridge, people are living in slum. It's an indictment on the government itself. So the government must provide alternative if it's doing urban renewal, build a decent accommodation to resettle all these people before demolition can take place. You should not put the cart before the horse.
Very, very true. And just to state for the records, for people who might not know, Lagos is not a stranger to some of these demolitions. In 1990, Colonel Raji Razaki ensured the largest form of demolition in Nigeria, which is the Morocco, which is where Lekki Phase 1 is seated right now. They said that area was below sea level, and right now we have the elite of the elite living in Morocco, which is Lekki Phase 1 and Phase 2 also. So that is to show you that what we have observed in the military dictatorship is still what we see today in civilian rule that we practice today in Nigeria, and not democracy, lots of people would argue. We equally have other matters from the same newspaper, which equally states that, but this time it says the state governors now to share payments of electricity subsidy. What's your take on this? Is this a welcoming development, and knowing that the money is too much for the federal government to pay? We're talking about 4 trillion naira that is owed to this as we speak.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Henry. For us, it's neither here nor there. I think what is sacrosanct for us is for the government, whether state, local or federal, to guarantee uninterrupted electricity supply at an affordable price. Presently, we know that they have turned electricity to Band A, Band B, and Band C. People can hardly afford electricity tariff. Tariff has gone off the roof, and yet Nigerians are compelled to pay for darkness. Why the discos, be it Ibadan discos, Lagos discos, Ikeja disco, they are declaring, billions in profit, and yet the working masses and the poor are living in darkness. They are paying for darkness. So for us, we just feel that we hope this is not going to be a ploy to remove the so-called subsidy, quote unquote, on electricity. Is it not a paradox that a government that has privatized PHCN and has sold it to individual is still the one financing that entity? So what is the essence of selling it, of privatizing it, if government is still financing a private entity, a private business owned by individual?
But don't you think if the government had allowed it to run like that, with private individuals running it like they wish, don't you think that would be worse on subscribers, because it would be above lots of people's reach?
Sir, presently now, the way it is, those who took over PHCN, sir, they have not invested anything. It is the working class and poor masses that still buys transformer. They are the ones that buy pole. They are the ones that buy wire. In my community where I stay, our transformer, we bought it, we contributed 20,000 naira. That was about 6-7 years ago that we bought that transformer. We pay 2,000 naira monthly for maintenance fee. Just recently, that transformer had fault. Individual resident was compelled to pay 5,000 naira for the repair of that transformer before electricity could be restored. It took almost 2 weeks. All through those 2 weeks that we didn't have light, there was no bill. In the moment we contributed money and the transformer was restored and power was restored, IBTC Badon began to share NEPA bill, estimated bills at that. So you are interested in reaping from not investing in anything. It is still the property of PACN. Most of the discos are still using old vehicle. They are not investing in anything. And government keeps subsidizing those people. And at the end of the day, Nigerians are paying through their nose and we still live in darkness. It's unacceptable. And that is why we insist that as electricity is presently arranged in Nigeria, it cannot deliver power to the mass majority of Nigerians. And that is why, as socialists, as Marxists, we advocate the nationalization and the nationalization of all the all the power infrastructures, and placing say under democratic management and control of the whether they share whether they share subsidy or they don't share it, you can be sure that the poor working masses can never be guaranteed 24-hour electricity supply.
But Mr. John, all the while, the electricity in Nigeria under PHCN has been nationalized before it was asked to be sold back to the private. So don't you think renationalizing it again would take us back to the old ages of electricity epilepsy?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you get
my
follow-up question?
Thank you very much.
Did you get my follow-up question?
No, I didn't get that.
Yes, I said, you said that the electricity should be renationalized. And I was asking,
yes,
before now it was nationalized. And it's because the federal government could not manage it. That was why it was butchered and sold to their cronies. So don't you think renationalizing it again is like taking us back to where we used to be before?
No. There's a difference. It's not just to nationalize. Once it's nationalized, it should be placed under the democratic management and control of workers and professionals in the electricity sector. That is the difference. When it was nationalized, when it was under PACN or under NEPA, when it was a national asset, it was the workers' control and management democratically was missing. What the government does is to appoint person who heads, the parastatal called NEPA or PACN at that time. They put their political acolytes in there and they ensure that they run the system down. And they later turn around to say that government cannot manage business. It's a blackmail on the people. It is a blackmail on the people. Sir, you will agree with me that when Disco was PACN, we pay less and electricity availability was guaranteed to some extent than what we have today. So what we are demanding is not just to nationalize, but to place it under workers' control, democratic control and management.
All right, so we hope that would work and believe that a time would come when all of this, would be a possibility. And we have it in Nigeria. Electricity distribution companies, as the DISCOs, are structured as public-private partnerships. The federal government of Nigeria holds 40% stake in all 11 privatized DISCOs, recently transferred from the Bureau of Public Enterprise, as the BPE, to the Ministry of Finance Incorporated. Private investors or commercial lenders, following debt-related takeover, hold the remaining 60%. According to the data we have here, it's actually quite interesting. Abuja Disco is controlled by Transcorp-led consortium, and that's Tony Elumelu. Oh, you can see how these people have
they share it for themselves, sir.
Yes,
they shared it for themselves. We
have ECO recently acquired by Transgrid Enaco, a consortium including North-South Power and Alleglia. Transcorp, we can equally say the owners of this ECO. It's ECO Disco. Ikeja jointly owned by Sahara Group and Korea Electric Power Corporation. We all know who owns Sahara. So you can see how it is.
These are capitalist investors that are only interested in profit, not the need of the people. Sir Henry, if you will recall, just recently, Ikeja Disco was given the worst performing discos all over Nigeria in terms of performance by one entity like that. And yet Disco is making the highest, Ikeja Disco made the highest profit from electricity consumer while supplying them darkness. That is to tell you how capitalism works. Capitalism is about the profit of a few as against the need of the majority. And that is why we keep iterating as masses. And that until a socialist state is enthroned, where the commanding height of the economy is nationalized and placed under the democratic control and management of workers and professionals in that sector, nothing is going to change. As I keep saying, these issues will keep reoccurring again. That is where we are.
It's actually quite funny. Enugu Disco is owned by Emeka Ofo. Now, these are people who have been in control of Nigeria's resources for so many years. No traction from their side. They've not contributed nothing to Nigeria's economy or development in any way, amassing so much wealth to themselves, and yet not making life unbearable for Nigerians. It's actually quite funny.
More difficult for Nigerians.
Like this. It's actually quite funny. Well, just to let us know that Mr. Eko Nicholas will still be here to take us on our main conversation. When we return, Oyedele reveals a shocking low tax compliance in Nigeria. A bit Enterprise Morning it is. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Thank you so very much for being back. And if you just joined us, Enterprise Morning it is, reaching you from Enterprise Television to our main conversation for today. Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has urged Nigerians to comply with statutory deadlines for filing tax returns, stressing that tax compliance is mandatory for both employers and individuals. Speaking during a webinar for HR managers, payroll officers, CFOs, and tax managers organized with the Joint Revenue Board, Oyedele said employers are required to file annual returns for their employees by January 31 each year. Let's get talking. We still have Eko John and Nicholas. Thank you so very much for hanging on. We truly do appreciate you. And let's get talking on the tax thing. I would love you to speak to me as someone who is a socialist, a Marxist. What's your take on taxes? Do you think your ideology speaks to citizens paying taxes? If it is, how do you think they can do it such that everyone will be happy?
Well, thank you very much. I think the first thing to say is that let's even look at what Oyedele is saying, tax filing. What is tax filing? Tax filing is the process of submitting requested financial document and information to tax authority, right? Detailing, income and taxes owed or any other deduction or credit applicable. The process will allow the government to assess the correct amount of taxes an individual or business must pay in accordance with the local, state, or federal tax law. Tax filing, of course, according to them, is critical. It's critical part of tax compliance process, and it helps ensure that tax obligations are met in a timely manner. That is tax filing. That is what Oyedele wants. But the point is this: while you are asking for tax filing so that you can make people compliance with taxes, to know how much they are earning, so that you can know how to tax them accordingly. The point is that as masses, we are insisting that Nigerians are already overtaxed, that all the essentials amenities that the government is supposing or is supposedly wanting to collect tax on now, that it feels that when it collects taxes, that is when it can provide it in abundance. I mean, like water, road, I mean, well-funded education, functioning healthcare, just name it, agriculture, all the social amenities. These are things Nigerians are already doing for themselves. I just told you here now in my community in Ogun State, in Ijebu-Ode, we bought our own transformer. We pay monthly due for the maintenance of that transformer. And when it gets spoiled, we also pay for the repair. That is one. As I speak presently now, I'm sure it's also applicable everywhere. There is no pipe-borne water running anywhere, whether in Lagos, the so-called mega city, in Ogun State, or across Nigeria. Roads that government is supposed to be constructing, most roads across communities and villages are done on the basis of self-help. So, if Nigerians are already paying for all these things, why do you now want to tax them again? Or in any case, if you say, because government say they are not increasing taxes, why do you want to widen the tax, net, to make sure that a lot of people are compliant? There's tax compliance. Everybody now pays tax. The reason why they are doing that, sir, is not for altruistic purposes. Why they are doing tax compliance, we're trying to widen the tax nest, is to make resources available for the opulent lifestyles of the ruling elite. It's pure and simple, sir. Before they remove fuel subsidy, what was the argument against fuel subsidy? They told us that the moment fuel subsidy is removed, the incomes that we are able to recover, that we are able to recoup as a result of removing that subsidy, those money will be used to better our life. Sir, today, the opposite is the case. Punch just reported this morning that the state government across the federation share over 9 trillion naira from the federation allocation, from the federation account and allocation commission. Why the states are making more money, the citizens are getting poorer. Cost of living crisis, food inflation, hike in school fee, just name them. Basic necessity have become, it has become something Nigerians cannot lay their hands on. And yet, Nigerians the government are making more money. The federal government, the same thing. Local government, the same thing. Local government was allocated over 5 trillion in the same period of 2035, while the federal government itself had over 7 trillion naira that they shared among themselves. And what have they had to show for it? Disenchantment, hunger, poverty, mysteries. And in the midst of all this, they still want to widen the tax net. As masses, we are saying that if they must tax, let them tax the big corporations. Let them tax the rich individuals who have enough resources. In fact, there was this study that was done by Action Aid that said that just 5 Nigerians, wealthy people, their wealth alone is enough to provide free water, free health, and a lot of social amenities for Nigerians. All these kind of people should be taxed. The tax should be progressive. All these people should be taxed. Yes, and that money should be used to better the life of workers and poor people, rather than burdening us with taxes. Yes. We are paying enough already. Is it levy? They collect shop levy. They collect driver's permit, rider's permit, emission permit, school permit, environmental permit. Name them all arrays of taxes and levies they have been collecting in each state of the federation. Of course, they also paint a picture of making the tax progressive, and that anybody that less than 800, from 800,000 down will be exempted. We are saying that 800,000 naira in Nigeria of today, as a result of inflationary, crisis as we have it, cost of food, cost of transport, 800,000 naira, to say you are going to tax less than 800,000 naira is out of it. We are demanding that if you must tax, they should tax workers that earn that is what people that are earning 200,000 naira a month is people they should start to tax, not those earning 800. Because why? Even the 200,000 naira at the end of the day, you remove rent as a result of high cost of rent now. Food crisis. Just name them. At the end of the day, you see that 2.4 million that they are earning to 2.4 million naira. That to be taxable as against the 800 naira.
Yes, but what was your take on this? The federal government had always insisted that its desire is to tax the rich. But we all know that taxing the rich in Nigeria is not where the problem is, because Dangote does not care if he is taxed. Elumelu, Femi Otedola, Bua Cement, and many other blue chip owners are not scared of the huge taxes, because they know the poor people would help them pay for it, because their products will trickle down to the lowest sachet of water, making the poor equally pay for their taxes. So how do you think we can better tax the rich without having it cascade to the very poor that would end up paying the taxes on behalf of the very wealthy in the society?
Exactly, that is the problem. Because most of the taxes that will be placed on those corporations or those big business, at the end of the day, to be passed down to the worker and poor masses through VAT added tax. Even the bread that the poor people will eat, in the final analysis, they will have to pay taxes on it. And that is why we are insisting that Nigeria has enough money as we speak to better the lot of people. To ensure that money is invested in education massively, to provide free and qualitative education to all who are ready to go to school. Invest in agriculture massively to make food available to all so that food can be cheap. Invest in road infrastructure, in hospitals, just name all the social sectors. You invest in there. There's enough money to invest so that if you eventually tax the poor, the rich now, and they want to pass it down, the effect will be minimal. Because why? The basic necessity would have been guaranteed by government. So if passing down that tax, it the effect might not be much.
Are you still there?
Hello, I'm here. I'm with
beautiful.
you.
Yes, so I'd love to, my final question to you is this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has asked Nigerians to hold their governors responsible, that he gives them as many money as they would want to. And like you have said, reported from the Punch newspaper, 9 trillion is going to be, given to all the states plus the federal government equally. So do you think, knowing that development is at the grassroots, that having this money distributed to governors and local government areas, don't you think that is the best bet to ensuring that democracy or development gets to the grassroots, that provision of pipe-borne water? The federal government cannot leave what it is supposed to be doing at the center and coming to one local government to lay pipe-borne water there. It is the local government that should do that. So don't you think that the process of allowing money pass through the state and local government is the only way the federal government can reach out to the vulnerable in the society?
Thank you very much. In answering that question, I will quote the president himself when he was the governor of Lagos State. In trying to badmount Jonathan's government, Bola Tinubu said, and I quote, he said, bad fish will start to get rotting, or will start to get, smelling from the head. Did you get that?
Yes.
That fish get rotting from the head. Are you with me, sir?
Very well.
Thank you very much. So the same way, it is, when rain falls, the moment the rain pours on the head, it gets down to the foot, isn't it?
Very well.
Thank you. So it's not just about holding local government or state government accountable. It is holding the governments accountable, governments, both state, local government, and federal. The point is that
can you hear me? All right, I think we're having a bit of a challenge there from our network. We hope that Ekujo Nicholas would come back and let's have this discussion, because it's quite becoming more interesting. Knowing that the federal government has insisted that we should hold our leaders accountable, which means that President Bola Tinubu is exfoliating himself from the responsibility. But Ekujo Nicholas is saying, according to what President Bola Tinubu has stated when he was referring to Goodluck Jonathan, that the fish starts getting bad from the head. If the head is rotten, then the whole body would follow suit. I sincerely believe that that was said by President Bola Tinubu, and hope that he who has said that would equally work with what he has said, as not to indict himself. Are you there, Mr. Ekujo Nicholas? All right, I think we have to let it slide now, and hopefully next time. Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, please can you finish up on your thoughts, because I was waiting for you to explain better on what you said President Bola Tinubu had told President Goodluck Jonathan, and him indicting himself now with that same statement.
Yes, that the fish. Yes, that the fish start to get rotting from the head. So the point is that it's not just the local or state government alone. The federal government is also inclusive. In fact, it is the program and policies of the APC government that of government and local government presently. APC is implementing all these policies and programs of the federal government. So it means that the 3 tiers of government, they are in cohort in implementing all these anti-poor policies that ensures that money is never available to meet the needs of the people. It's not about holding, President Bola Tinubu telling us to hold our state or local government. It's an escapist, position. It's an alibi to cover its own failure, the federal government failure, and the failure of APC as a party. And that is why we insist that until we have a party of the poor, workers, market women in power, that we implement a socialist program of national economy, placing under the democratic control and management of workers, in order to free up resources that are presently trapped in the hands of all this political class, to meet the need of the
Are you still there? All right, I think we lost Ekujo Nicholas again. We sincerely hope that next time, possibly, when we have him, we might get our connections working fine. You know, this is part amongst many issues that we have in Nigeria. In 2026, ladies and gentlemen, when the world is moving supersonic, lots of people are craving towards 5G, 6G and 7G and many other Gs to ensure that communication is better. In Nigeria, we're still suffering from lack of communication, which is affecting all and sundry. And the question is, how can we as a people, as a country, grow when we do not have more than enough technology to help life become better, to help leadership lead well, to help followership follow well. When we have scarcity of all of these amenities as a result of deficit of leadership, deficit of those in governance, then it tells about or the generality of Nigerians. What affects one affects all. Unfortunately, we have pockets of leaders who do not care that much, who are more fixated on taking care of themselves and their families and their cronies, and not the rest of Nigeria. Nigeria belongs to every single one of us, and it is our responsibility to make it better. That's my take for today, and I hope that you enjoyed our show. Please do well to follow us. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gwibike. Have yourself a splendid day. God bless you. God bless Nigeria, and I'll see you on another episode. Bye-bye.